Okay, so anyway, I'm a Latin teacher by trade. I also teach ancient Greek, taught Sanskrit, and also ancient Hebrew. And as you can tell, all those languages are dead, but they're still living here in our little corner of Seacrest, and they have new life with all the students that come to take it. And yes, I first got interested in the languages when I went to college. As I think is often the case, I had a great professor. His name was Cornelius Hawley, and he was a priest, and I had him for Greek, and he really lit a fire. I said, hey, this is interesting, this man is interesting, and I started to study it. At the time I was in the seminary, studying to be a priest, and you can major in two things, philosophy or classics, and so I majored in both. But then when that ended, the college career, and especially when I met my wife and was no longer going to be a priest, I was off for a while, but went back to graduate school for classics while I worked in a steel mill. And I eventually got my master's degree and was able to start teaching again. And I started off teaching high school Latin, that type of thing, and found it a lot of fun to teach high school and that sort of thing, but eventually became a professor at a small Catholic college where I did teach Latin and Greek and Hebrew, and kind of made that a career for quite some time. And now in my dotage have turned to teaching Latin, Greek, Sanskrit, and ancient Hebrew here in high school. Is the stuff relevant today? Yeah, I think it's part of the history of how we've developed mentally. I think we've you know, our mind works to a certain structure, and it developed back with the ancient languages, and what we see today is sort of the development from there. It's a sort of a structure of thinking that we've come up with, and plus just the whole, like if you don't know Homer, I don't know how you would understand, you know, modern authors or something like that, since that started the whole deal. In the literature itself, the stories are actually what make it fun, because in lots of ways the ancient languages are a very analytic type study, but then the literature that you're exploring within that study is what makes it different from math or anything of that sort. You know, you have the Iliad and the Odyssey all the way up through who was it? Jordanes in writing about Attila the Hun, and Thomas Aquinas's Summa Theologica. It's just a tremendous amount of literature, all that's interesting, all that you can find yourself getting interested in, and just good stories. The Iliad, the Odyssey is a good story to know. The Mahabharata and the Ramayana and things like that, just excellent stories to know. The New Testament, originally in Greek, just great story. So there's a sort of thread that runs through it all that keeps things the same, and then the other threads that keep it different. And when it's all said and done, what would they think of our world today? I think they'd be quite pleased, a little confused, but I think Aristotle would be thrilled with what happened in science. Plato might find it very interesting as far as some of the theories of ideas go, that type of thing. But yeah, I think they would be glad to recognize themselves in it. All right.